What's going on, everybody? Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by my good buddy Instigator TV. Instigator TV's been streaming on Twitch since I was just a punk getting out of high school. And since then, he's been on a mission to spread positivity, and he's pretty damn good at it. He's helped me a lot on my journey as a content creator and a Twitch streamer, and if you guys want to help me return the favor, go check out his stream. He puts a lot of effort into it, and I promise you, whether it's playing World of Warcraft or opening Pokemon cards, this guy is just a lot of fun to hang out with. If you want to get to know Instigator TV a little bit more, go check out episode 14 of this podcast. We had a great conversation, and you'll understand why I look up to this guy so much. Today's guest is a senior at Florida University studying economics and finance, and he's best known for kicking ass in Warzone and streaming it on Twitch. Please welcome PoloVibes. All right. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, man. How's life?
It's been wonders. So a little backstory on me. I'm currently a senior at the University of Florida. And I think now I'm about 2.5 months into this journey, almost 3 months into it, and it has been one heck of a ride. I can tell you that. And it's been amazing starting this. And I've always kind of wondered, with streaming and creating content, how would get started, what would I do, like when should I do it, and all these other things. But the biggest factor that like led me to start this was COVID. So while COVID is one of the worst things ever, it actually kind of was a blessing for the gaming community and stuff like that in general. So but yeah, it's going really good. What about yourself?
Good, man. It's busy. It's definitely getting crazy since we're getting ready to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you moved to?
New Mexico,
Really? Well, what part of New Mexico? New
Albuquerque.
Mexico. Really? No way.
Yeah.
The one time I went to New Mexico, it was in Albuquerque, and it was over like a decade ago with my family. We went on like a big old like ski trip over there in the winter, and it was awesome. But I haven't been there in so long. It's been a while.
Yeah, I grew up in Arizona, and then my girlfriend's been in the Palm Springs area of California her whole life, pretty much.
Mhm.
So when she found out that it snows there a little bit, she's like, "It's gonna be too cold." So
Yeah.
that's all she's
um,
caring about.
I think the farthest that I've been out west has been I think it's been Utah.
Utah. Okay.
I think Utah has been the far. I mean, I still want to go to. I still think I want to go to like Arizona, California, see everything over there. And but
Yeah.
in due time,
Yeah.
in due time, I've been all over the East Coast, but yeah, the West Coast I just never had the opportunity. I haven't had the opportunity yet to go over there.
Yeah.
Um,
So what are you going to school for? Like, obviously at this point you're pretty much almost done.
so
So
yeah, so I am currently obviously I'm a senior. I major in finance with a minor in economics, and kind of like my thought process going into college was, I want to do something that job security is like, safe and stuff like that, but also something that interests me. So like on the business side of things, negotiating deals, consulting with clients and firms and things like that. That really interests me. So that's why I went into finance. And it's been definitely I mean, at UF, I think we're ranked number 6 public school in the nation. So it's definitely not easy, but some of the classes aren't like the hardest thing in the world. So like it's definitely one of the challenges has been trying to find the balance between, your school with your social life and your connections and your networking and things like that. And so once you kind of find the balance between all those things, then it kind of like gets easy as you go on. But it's flown by. When they say
yeah.
college is the best 4 years of your life and it flies by the quickest, man, honestly, I kind of like I took it and I was like, okay, I'll like keep my eye open for this. But dude, it's flown by, man. It's flown by way too quick. And I I could say going into my senior year and just going over now, I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I've had and the connections that I've made, and both from like a professional level and also from like a friendship level and things like that. So,
That's good. How's COVID
mhm.
been with you there?
So So quick side note. I actually live inside a fraternity house, and I am one of the select few that has not gotten COVID. Knock on wood. Surprisingly, um, so a lot of my boys have gotten it, and let's say they've kind of been reckless about it. But you know, one thing like because my girlfriend, she has asthma. We've been dating for over a year, and she has asthma and stuff like that. So we have been trying to like stay away from all of the crazy and mayhem of the college scene for, like as much as possible. And but it's
Yeah.
work though, and that's the most important thing too, is trying to keep everyone safe that you care about, and not being selfish and reckless about it. And but yeah, COVID wise, I mean, all classes are online. There's not really much like campus activity. Um, a lot of people our age think we're invincible to this, so they're just kind of living like normal life. Um, but as you can see, we're still hitting record numbers in COVID and in all other things. And
Yeah.
obviously, there's going to be a serious lockdown coming very, very, very soon,
Oh,
because
you
we
think
can't.
we're Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we all
I think we're headed that route. I know, I definitely know they've been talking about it in serious talks. Supposedly like 4 to 6 weeks. But while that does suck, I think it's a great opportunity for all content creators. And
I was about to say.
like just like if you think about it from this way, and when March came around, right, a lot of the TikTokers that do a Call of Duty, like Lucci and Stanman and Burger and all those people, when the first really big lockdown came in March, they capitalized on it, and then look where they're at now, like months
Mhm.
after. So and I've been telling this to my friend group and things like that who stream. I'm like, hey, if there's not a lockdown, you need to take advantage of this as much as possible, because this is a very, very, very special opportunity that who knows, we could ever see this coming back. And so yeah, I think from a content creation perspective, I mean, I know for me, I'm going to be just grinding nonstop
Yeah.
if it does happen, because it's one of those moments that if you don't capitalize, you're really going to miss out on it. And
Mhm.
so I'm just waiting to see if that does happen. And if it does, I'm just going to be trying to grind as much as possible with Call of Duty and Warzone and things like that. And that's my certain niche as of now at least.
Yeah. I guess that's a good time to segue into your thoughts on Cold War.
Oh man, this
Dude.
is
Oh
this is
man.
okay. So what I would say is, I've always been a Treyarch fanboy, and I've always loved just how like creative and unique Treyarch can be with their games when it comes like zombies and multiplayer and things like that. But I feel like the one thing they've always kind of lacked on in majority of their games has always been like gameplay mechanics, and like the core foundation. So that's where I would give the crown to Infinity Ward, because obviously their game mechanics like movement, guns, things like that, I would definitely give it to Infinity Ward. But with like uniqueness and creativeness and like cool ideas, I'd give it to Treyarch. But with Cold War, I mean, I like it multiplayer. I'll be totally honest. I feel like it's aggressively average. I feel like when you play it, when you, I still can't believe there's a lot of people that are grinding it right now. But when I've played it, I feel like after like a little bit of a gaming session, you're just kind of like, I don't know if I want to play this anymore. But zombies and campaign, on the other hand, I love. I love zombies, and I love campaign. And I've always been a really big zombies guy, growing up. Between like that and like multiplayer, those have always been my two things. And I really do like the zombies though. But the multiplayer, I wish the mechanics were better, and I wish they added more to it. Other than, I think, what, eight? There's only 8 multiplayer maps, and we've already been used to 6 of them from the
Yeah.
beta. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah, it definitely
that's
makes it
kind of that's
stale.
yeah, exactly. So, But I don't know. I think the other thing too, what it kind of goes to show is just how fortunate we are to have Warzone. If you really think about it, because I feel like both multiplayers from Modern Warfare and Cold War, well, obviously now, or like I would feel like they're stale and stagnant. It's just not the same. But I feel like Warzone is 100% the biggest driver for Activision's success and what they're really focused on. And I feel like if they really mess up the integration with Cold War on December 10th, that could run into some really, really, really big problems. So I'm hoping that it works out okay. And none of us know what's going to happen with the integration. So we just got to hope, pray, and hopefully, things will work out when they somehow, some way merge the two games together.
Yeah. I unfortunately think it's just gonna break Warzone. It's
You,
gonna
you
be a
think
mess,
so?
man. Yeah, there's no
You
way
think
that
so?
you're gonna integrate guns that are 40 years old compared to the ones that it's just not. They're gonna have
I think
issues.
I think if you were this is how I see it, right? If you were to take every single weapon and you were to make it like, let's just say, you theoretically speaking, you take every single gun, you make it all look like the Kilo, right? Like every single gun is like the Kilo, right? And they have different stats, stuff like that. The problem is Modern Warfare's time to kill is so much faster than
Yeah.
Cold War's time to kill. So that's the first challenge: is how are you going to implement like new, gun models
Yeah.
that are going to have the same time to kill if they're not the same time to kill in your current state of the game.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Two is just the map in general. I feel like the map's going to be a really big part of keeping it fresh, but at the same time, like, I'm wondering what they're going to exactly do with the map. Like
There's
I
no
don't
new
know. There's
map coming
so
until like March, right?
is it
That's what I've heard. But I mean,
really
everybody's just saying whatever they hear, so nobody
good?
knows.
Good lord.
I
I
mean,
think
with with Cold War being the way it is, I definitely feel like they suffered from the pandemic. Like they had to
yeah,
cut corners,
I think
and
it's
that
very apparent too.
yeah, the multiplayer. It's to me the biggest problem is yeah that time to kill. The mobility feels good. I think like sliding and all that stuff feels good,
Yeah.
but it's just
Mhm.
way too hard to rank up, level up guns. And
Exactly.
I will be honest, I was one of those guys who was like, skill based matchmaking. It's been at every Call of Duty, but every
No,
match I go into is literally like I'm playing against pros. It's just so
hey,
sweaty,
you're,
dude.
we're playing against the CDL championship, baby.
Yeah,
Woo!
and
It's
yeah,
honestly it's a sweat fest, man. And I mean, they really cranked it up. I mean, I remember seeing on Twitter, Doug Sensor Martin, he was going through his friends list of all the pro players, and there's a screenshot that he posted of like mostly every like pro player that's on his friends list, and they all had like a below 2 KD in Cold War, and that is just nuts. But I mean, it's just like I don't know. I mean, so many, especially now. If you compare our day and age now compared to a decade ago, there are so many like more little things that can get blown up, like from the community to like change things compared to like a decade ago. So I'm glad that the community is being proactive and literally showing Activision, hey, skill based matchmaking is super 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 strong in Cold War. Along with this, a lot of people are not really playing Cold War multiplayer, and they're only playing like zombies or campaign or just Warzone, and a lot of along with all the other problems and stuff like that. So I mean, I am very fortunate that our community is very proactive with this, and I would hope that Activision would listen to us and not slack with anything, because if they do, I think that's just going to be a really big problem for them going forward.
I mean with the feedback that everybody's given right now, I'm sure Treyarch and Activision are both scrambling to figure out how they
Yeah,
can please everybody because
exactly.
Modern Warfare is a hard one to live up to. I mean it's the first Call of Duty in a long time that's entertained me for a full year. You know,
Yeah,
I don't think that's happened since like Black Ops 2.
yeah.
So
it's I was gonna say it's crazy when you reflect. Like we never knew we were in the golden era when we had it with Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
That whole era was, you didn't know back then that that would be the best time. But I mean, now when you come to now, I'm still very optimistic with like Call of Duty and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
going back to them, like the memories and you know the things back then were just perfect in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to think that there's a decent majority of people that are like, if Call of Duty doesn't, fix something or something like that, like I don't know if I'm gonna play it again. And it's crazy thinking that like there's more people that are saying that now than years ago. And you know, but from like a business standpoint, it's been pretty crazy the amount of Call of Duties that Activision has been able to make and still be on top. Like that,
Yeah.
that is a huge, huge, huge milestone. It's crazy, honestly.
Yeah. So you were saying that you stream twice today. Is that something you normally do?
So yeah, so one of my good buddies, his name is Asian Boy. So he does this method where he streams pretty much almost every day, or if not every day, and but he does two mini streams. And um, for me, I've usually been the guy that I've done like long benders like whenever I stream. But one thing that I noticed was when like for me, I get so into it with like gaming stuff like that it sometimes takes a toll on my health and things like that. And that's something I like. You definitely do not want to make a habit. Is you just like malnutrition and you not focusing on your health and your mind and stuff like that. So I think that's a very pinnacle part that you have to keep in check. And so I'm starting to do like two like mini streams during the day until I can get more growth, and then um go into like the longer stream stuff like that. But yeah, right now, because I'm still relatively new, I'm still trying to find a rhythm with that stuff and kind of find like the perfect stream set schedule and things like that. But it's been working out pretty good, I would say, because I would still say I stream like 6 to 7 hours when I do it, but I block it off into two different sections, and I'm able to like edit a little bit like in between. I'm able to do like what I need to do like in between, kind of take like a little like breather, and then come back and like feel like refreshed.
Hmm. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen too many people trying that. I wonder.
yeah. I'm curious. I'm curious though if anyone else is like doing that. If anyone else has been doing that. But
I don't think I could do 2 streams a day. That would be too much for me. I spend a lot of
yeah,
time editing, making TikToks.
yeah. hmm Yeah, that's exactly what I try and do. I try to edit before the first stream, and then in the middle of the second stream, if I already have like an idea for a TikTok, I could definitely bang it out like in between the two streams. And that's the biggest thing for me is, you know, in this scene, you got to always be innovative and creative, and obviously raise the standards for high quality content, right? So for me, the hardest thing is always the creative like idea. Okay, you know, let's say you have like a really good clip from like Warzone. You can't just, I mean, for me personally, this is my thought process. Okay, there are thousands and thousands of people that put up great clips from Warzone. What am I going to do to stand out? How am I going to be creative and innovative with this clip, with my editing, with my creativeness in order to stand out? And so with me, that's what I always think about. Because I think in order for you to stand out, you need to be a pioneer in your space, and you need to always be raising the standards. So I've always preached, even the people that have like come and asked me, and I tell them like, hey, even though I'm relatively new, I know that there's a couple things. One, you got to be creative in your own aspect. Two, you got to be unique and find your niche and what exactly you want to do. And three, you just got to have really good quality, high content. And so with those three elements, you'll be able to grow. You'll be able to stand out. So that's something I always preach. And you know, that's definitely the hardest thing though, is before I go into making like, videos and TikToks is like what's the game plan for making this video? Then once I kind of like figure that out, then I know like exactly what I'm gonna make and stuff like that.
How long have you been on TikTok? You said just
I
2 months.
started this whole thing since end of August. End of
Okay.
August, yeah. Yeah, since the end of August. I feel like yeah. So it's been crazy though. It's been one heck of a ride. I think the biggest thing too is I was very fortunate enough like months ago when COVID first started to be able to already be playing with some streamers, and then once I started,
Mm-hmm.
they were able to help me, initially with having people to start off. I mean, not a crazy number, don't get me wrong, but having those connections and then continuing to network and grow and reach out. I mean, that's been a very pinnacle pillar of my early success, and like that's what I'm going to be keep on doing, continuing to keep on growing the community, continue to keep on trying to push out the best quality content I can. And in due time, community is going to grow, networks are going to grow, things like that. So it's just consistency. I feel like it's a
Yeah,
lot of it's
consistency
being
is
consistent.
definitely key. Yeah,
It's definitely
with
key.
everything.
Yeah. hmm Um, but yeah, that's my side. What about you? Like, I'm curious to like hear your side of things and like kind of like your your motivations and like how you see content creation, community building, and networking and things like that from like your perspective.
So, right now things are kind of weird because we're getting ready for the move. So it's hard for me
hmm
to collab with people, I would say.
hmm
A lot of times, like, Bad Bear Gamer reaches out a lot. You know Bad Bear Gamer?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
reaches out a
I
lot. So, like, he reached out about a tournament on Friday, and I think I asked you about that too.
yeah.
Uh, but other than that, I haven't really done too many collabs lately. Uh, I be, because of the move, I've been focusing a lot more on like I'm trying to get the podcast ahead of schedule, so that I can still
hmm
post like an
hmm
episode or two that week when we're not really doing much because of the move.
Yeah.
Uh, TikTok, I was doing like 2 videos a day, but I've started to ramp it up again. It's like 3 or 4.
hmm hmm
Because at one point I was doing 5 or 6, and that
Really?
seemed to, yeah. I mean, it's putting more tickets into the lottery. Is the way that it feels.
Exactly.
But right now it's weird because I feel like every week more and more people go back to school. It's like school and work. It seems like
hmm
so that the times to post are like shrinking. It feels like people aren't on the app as much for sure.
Yeah.
So
And well, I totally agree.
so if we go into lockdown, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting how the app just kind of it's like a switch is gonna flip and everybody's gonna have all this time again. But
Yeah.
I mean, stuff here is already there's some of the counties are already talking about lockdowns and curfews and stuff. So we'll see. We're
That's crazy.
we're hoping that all that happens after we move, so we don't have to deal with it. But
Yeah, all the BS. Yeah, I totally agree. And that's kind of been the thing for me too, because I started out doing like 3 to 2. And so now I try to do, to some like weekends are very, very, very tricky to figure out. So sometimes I'll do two on the weekends with, one, um, mainly. But yeah, I try to do like because I've always been like quality over quantity. I mean
yeah,
I could always churn out like a bunch of videos, but I feel like from a TikTok perspective too, um I don't know, maybe like it's not like I know the algorithm or anything like that. I just feel like for someone's For You page, that one person can only see one of your videos, right? So if you have a bunch of videos out, then that's just gonna it's I feel like that could cannibalize your other videos from growing. That's just my personal take. And so unless you space it out, like it would be a different story if you post like a video every hour. Then yeah, it's not gonna work. But if you space it out like 3 to 4 hours in a day, I feel like from an algorithmic like perspective, I think that would work. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I usually do like 2 videos, and I try to do 2 videos a day. But I also try and space that with streaming and all of that stuff, and school, and me and my girlfriend and my other relationships. So with my friends and with my family and things like that. So it definitely is a busy schedule, and just trying to make the most of it. And we'll have to see when lockdown happens what's going to happen. There's definitely going to be a huge influx of people on the app. So definitely got to take advantage of it 100%. So,
Yeah. Are you in the creator fund?
so no, I actually just passed the 10K mark like a day or two ago. So I just got that email. But I've definitely heard a lot of the stories about oh, if you're in the TikTok Creator Fund, your views go down and things like that. And
My views went
honestly,
up.
really, they have.
Got more consistent. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it
it's
has
it's
anything to
crazy,
do with it.
really.
I think people are just
Because
trying to blame it on something because at the end of the day, we went from having a crap ton of people with a crap ton of time to all of a sudden a crap ton of people making content because now you can make money and people don't have the time anymore to watch it. So I think it's just that flip switched and now everybody's like, well, my views are gone. It must be the creator fund because that's the one thing that's changed, you know, that they
yeah,
did. So, and I mean, I've talked to Chunky Hustle. He's got like 1.3 million followers,
uh-huh.
and it just comes in waves, man. Like it really, I don't know if I feel like the people that I'm usually talking to that are on TikTok, they seem to be somewhere around the same point as me. But I just watching other people's accounts, you can see that it'll dip down for a while and then one will pop off and they'll ride that wave for a while, you
Hmm.
know, because there's that whole theory of negative and positive momentum. So if you,
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm a big believer in that. So if
I
I
feel
have
like
a,
that's definitely the case too.
yeah, I personally, if I post a video and it doesn't do, if I don't get a certain amount of views within a certain amount of time, I'll just private it. And I think that's one thing that's kept mine consistent.
So that is one thing I'm gonna ask too, because from me being somebody new in the space, I can tell you. So one really quick way that I just got to 10K was doing zombie content,
Hmm.
and so with the Easter eggs and there's a couple glitches and stuff like that, people were just eating it up, and so I would say my past like 2 to 3 weeks of videos have actually been, most of them have just been consistently growing as of recently, which is like helped me out all in
Yeah.
general. But I can say the last 2 videos I posted totally just no traction at all whatsoever. Um, and so I've never been. I've definitely done like reposting. I don't do it all the time, but I've always. I don't know like what the science is behind like, you're privating, or like what's the best method to do it without like you pissing off TikTok, if that makes sense. And so I've never had the opportunity to talk to someone about that, because obviously, like you were saying, there's going to be positive waves and negative waves. It's just how the algorithm is. Like,
Hmm.
you're not going to be able to win every single. Yeah, it would be too easy. Everyone would blow up if that was the case.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on kind of like how that method works, like how like when the private, and like what your thoughts on reposting and things like that.
Yeah. So it's all relative, right?
Hmm.
So for me, I'm getting close to 110,000 followers.
Hmm.
So if you're
Hmm.
not getting, I like to say at least 10% of what your followers are for views on a video, then I private it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've noticed that. I mean, I can look at my account right now, and I think it's been. You have to scroll down pretty far to find one that's under 10K. So I
Yeah.
think so I've noticed too that if I post a couple of videos, so if I post like two or three, I usually space them out 45 minutes to an hour. I post in the
Hmm.
afternoons, like right around noon. I start posting, and
Yeah.
I've noticed that if I have three posts and one of them is doing badly, if I private that post, the other two start doing better. No joke. That's what
Really
I've noticed. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's
Um,
I'm telling you, it's something to do with negative and positive momentum.
do you what the hell was I gonna say? Um, how long do you give a video before you like think like, okay, this is just a no go? Especially with a recent algorithm, because I guess with this algorithm, they want to push like a slow and steady rate throughout like a couple days. So at what point do you just call it off and you say, okay, I'm gonna private this video and
I'm
just
actually
you know,
pretty quick about it. If I can tell based off of the like to view ratio, you know?
mhm,
So if I post a video and I'm at 1,000 views and I have 200 likes, I'm like, okay, so that's like 20% right there. 20%
mhm.
like to view ratio. That's decent. You know, the higher that ratio is, the better. If I post something and it gets 1,000 views and I have like 89 likes, I'm like, okay, that's bad. You know, and I'll notice that if I don't do any, if I just leave that post, it'll just like stall out right after that. You know, so
Mhm,
I think likes definitely. I feel like they don't have as much weight to them as they used to. They used to say
mhm,
the algorithm really cared about the like to view ratio. I just think right now, they care the most about view time. The
mhm.
number that I'm hearing in the videos that I watch, they say 75% view time is what you should be shooting for.
Yeah.
They apparently they're really pushing 15-second plus videos, like at least 15 seconds long, because
Mhm.
they're trying to get people to stay on the app. So they're not
Yeah,
going
the
to
longer
push
the
really.
possible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you post a 5-second video, it has to be something where people are going to watch it like 10 times, or else it's just not going to, you know.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But what I do is I just use that like to view ratio as an indicator whether people are engaging
Mhm.
with it, because every time
I think
somebody scrolls past it, that's a view, like it counts as a
yeah,
view. So if they like it,
yeah,
then that means that they at least stopped and took an extra couple of seconds. So
exactly, exactly, and that's something I've noticed too, and it definitely has been crazy because when I started, from my understanding a couple of months ago, it used to be when you would post a video and it would hit like everyone's For You page like that, and then you would know after like the first couple hours if it was like a promising video or not. And if it wasn't, then like you just didn't like it just probably wasn't a good video or something like that. But now it's tricky because it like I feel like it goes out in waves and it's hard to really see if it's being like promising. But I do think in regards to watch time, if you have very shareable content, that is huge. Because I remember back like a couple months ago, I started people, you could do like share copy link or something and just do it all day long, So
yeah,
shares were kind of like meaningless. But now, like if you have something where people are legit sharing it and like tagging people, um, that's gonna definitely keep it going. That's something that I've noticed recently. If you have very shareable content, that'll definitely keep it growing. So that's kind of the shift that I've focused as well. Because when I started, I kind of was like, I need to figure out like what I want to do. Okay, I'm just gonna post like my really nice clips, funny moments, like me, like about like me. But no, that's not what I think about anymore. I think about like you as the viewer. I don't think about me anymore. I think about how can I give value to the people that come into my content and the people that watch me. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. Every
yeah,
content creator. Like if you really want to grow, you like it should be more about focusing on your community and your brand and bringing in new people and showing them what they're about more so than like, hey, look at me, I'm really good at Call of Duty, hey, look at this like sick trick shot or whatever, you know what I mean? So and that's super saturated. There are so many people that are so good at every single video game. What are you going to do to make you stand out, right? And so that's something that I have like realized and something that I'm definitely, taking to heart and just going forward with it is focusing more on creating shareable, likable content that can relate to as many people as possible. And along with that, just continuing to, grow the community and focus more on the people and the individuals that come through. Because in my perspective, a lot of people have a lot of shit going on in their lives that like you never know. I mean, you'll a lot of people you'll never meet in real life, and you just don't know what they're really going through. And so, what I always preach is, I want to create a community and a sense of well-being that is a safe haven for all the people that are going through crap, for anything that you have, whether it's something really good, something really bad. You know, a lot of people want to like go to like this safe haven where they can just escape from like their current reality. I mean, you see it with people like working out. I mean, people that have like a lot of issues of going on in their lives, they'll go to the gym. You know, people they'll go on walks, they'll do like something else to get away from the troubles and things like that. And so that's something that I've like always been preaching. And so now that I'm starting to figure out that, if you have shareable, likable content, and along with that, if you really focus on your community and growth and building that way, that's how things get better. And that's what's been working for me in the past like month or so. That's what I've really put my focus and passion towards. And it's been awesome. It truly has been awesome.
Yeah, I keep telling a lot of the people that I talk to that are just starting out. I tell them, because they'll say I only have 2 or 3 viewers or something like that. But hey,
Mhm.
what those 2 or 3 viewers might actually be coming to your stream to escape from stuff. So don't give up.
Exactly.
This it makes a difference. So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah. As far as Twitch so far, like what are you averaging? I think I usually see you chilling somewhere in like the 20s or
So
30s.
now I am, let's see, I think followers were at like 1.6K, I think. Um, I'm definitely averaging between like 20 to 30. Um, and it varies there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then that's obviously without like a raid or a host or any of that stuff.
Hmm.
And and the good thing about it is, well, the kind of crappy thing when you do the two mini stream setup, the second stream sometimes there isn't a notification that goes out
Okay.
because like if you don't space your two streams, um, there's a chance that the second stream doesn't get a notification. That's why I urge people to join my Discord and follow me on Twitter and stuff like that, because then those are also outlets for them to get alerted that a
Yeah.
stream is going live. So that's why I think like in regards to my Discord as well, I try and preach everyone join it. One, for the sense of community building, and two, for the sense of staying up to date with what I'm doing, what the schedule is, like when I'm going live, things like that. So I definitely think I emphasize Discord, a decent amount to newcomers as well. And it's really cool seeing especially recently with the growth that we've had with the community, is all the newcomers are actually like connecting with one another and playing Call of Duty with one another, and that's one of the coolest things ever. And
Yeah.
so when you're able to have that and instill in your community that like, hey, like when I tell you you can come into my community and you can, there are people that are waiting to play with you. There are people there that are waiting to build friendships with you. And then when it happens, it's one of the coolest feelings ever to be able to say like, hey, like that's awesome that I was able to create something that people can join and network and enjoy, you know playing games with each other and building
Yeah.
friendships. So um but yeah, I think, yeah, so in regards to Twitch, yeah, 1.6K, yeah, I average like 20, so sometimes like 30, but mainly it's in the 20s right now. I haven't consistently broken the 30s barrier, but it's been it's been really cool. And a lot of those people have been with me since like the first month, which is pretty cool. So, and like as we grow on TikTok, there's going to be some more like true loyal viewership people and stuff like that. And that's just the thing, is just continuing to stay consistent, continuing to grow, and in due time, your numbers and stuff will continue to rise. So
Yeah. I've been streaming for 3 years now, and
mhm.
so I made affiliate in February. When I was in the military, I just didn't have like a consistent streaming schedule. You know,
Uh-huh.
I would sometimes not stream for weeks at a time.
Mhm.
So now starting to see people that have 3 and 4 month subscriber badges, it's weird, man. It's like,
It's
wow, these
crazy.
people are actually they've been here for that long.
That's
It's nuts.
awesome. That's so cool. That's awesome to hear. And my message. So, what did you do in the military?
I did helicopter search and rescue.
Really?
Yeah. So I was the guy who I like lowered the basket and stuff.
Hmm.
I We had a rescue swimmer that would sit behind me, and he was
Hmm.
basically like our medic and stuff. He
Hmm.
would assess the survivor and see if they needed to be immediately taken to a hospital or not, or if a boat was sinking. He would get them off the boat, swim them over to the basket. We'd pull them up, and then we would haul ass back to shore before we run out of fuel. So,
Now, would you say with that, did you really like enjoy that? Did you love that? Or was it just something like at that moment in time you were just kind of doing just for the time being?
so when I started out, I had to wait to go to school for that. It was about a year wait for me, which is actually pretty good. Most people it takes like a year and a half, 2 years.
Mhm.
But I lucked out. There was a test that I took, and right after I took that test, it got compromised. Like the answers got leaked.
Mhm.
So they're like, all right, nobody's no test until the next cycle. So for that cycle, I jumped a bunch of people on the list because I'd already passed it, and
Mhm.
you needed that to make rank. So
Yeah.
uh, during that year, I was on a boat in Washington State, and I hated that. Being on a boat sucked. I was getting seasick all
Really?
the time, stuff like that. So
That's the biggest thing with me is with me and my family whenever we've gone on vacation stuff like that, man. I want to be on the wall. I want to be like on boats and stuff so much, but after the first couple minutes, I'm just like,
it's
I just
bad,
can't.
man.
It sucks, man. Even when I take what is it, Dramamine? Yeah,
Yeah, that just makes you drowsy
yeah,
as hell.
yeah. Well, the non-drowsy, non-drowsy.
It
Um,
still makes you drowsy.
it
It's
still makes you
bullshit, dude.
drowsy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I've done that, I've yeah, I mean I've had some funny videos when I was out with my family in Costa Rica. We were doing some deep sea fishing and I was pretty much just creating chum through the water. It was so bad. That's just one thing that I wish that I just cannot control. It's just, that. But other than that, I mean, it's you know, I like trying to fish. The problem is, can I
uh,
enjoy actually being there?
it's too. I'm a person that's gonna be doing. My brain's all over the place. I can't sit there and hold a fishing pole. I'd have my phone out like.
Yeah. Um, what would you say are like some of your besides like streaming and stuff like that? What do you also really enjoy doing in your free
Like
time?
hobbies. Um,
Yeah.
right now I can't do any. I mean, the gyms are open at the moment. I'm going right after this,
Mhm.
but I'm sure they're gonna close again soon. You know,
Yeah.
but other than working out, well, jujitsu is kind of working out too. But I do enjoy martial arts. I just haven't been able to do it for seven
Really?
months now. So it sucks, man. I feel like I'm gonna be starting over almost. Because I'd only been doing it for a little over a year. I did a little bit of Muay Thai, and I was doing jujitsu at the same time, and I decided to focus on jujitsu because I liked that more. And yeah, I was stationed in San Francisco,
Uh huh.
and I hated it there. It's too crowded, too expensive.
Yeah.
Um, they were one of the first places to go on lockdown too. So I've been dealing with this stuff since like the beginning of
Really?
March. Yeah.
That sucks, man.
So and then we were doing deployments down to LA, and there was a gym I was going to here for jujitsu that I really liked. So
Mhm.
combined with the idea that I was going to come out here and work in the film industry, I had a job lined up. I was just like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'll just get out and stay here. There was no reason for me to. I didn't want to go anywhere else. They were gonna either send me to they were either gonna send me to Jacksonville or they were gonna send me to Jersey. And the thing with the
Really?
Jacksonville job was I was going to go to sniper school. And if I failed that, I was going to be stuck as a full time mechanic. And I hated being a mechanic. I liked
Yeah.
flying, and the idea of not flying for 3 years would have killed me. So
That's
I
crazy.
didn't want to
Yeah.
gamble with that because I don't know. I heard that the sniper program was kind of like a good old boys club. You know, if they didn't like you, they would make sure you failed. So I don't.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Wow.
I just there was
Yeah.
too much up in the air. I just didn't like it. And then the Jersey gig was I was gonna do air interdiction for the White House, but I didn't want to live
Mhm.
in Jersey. I kept hearing that because it's Atlantic City, so I just heard it
Yeah.
wasn't nice, you know. And I I was stationed in North Carolina for 6 months, and
Uh-huh.
I don't know that's the most experience I have on the East Coast, and I didn't care for the weather and stuff. It was just
Yeah.
too humid. I mean, I got there in February and I left in August. So I experienced like the tail end of winter and then right when like summer peaked, and
Mhm.
it went from being super cold and windy to so humid that you just didn't want to go outside. So and
That's
I was there for a
crazy.
hurricane too. So yeah.
And that's when, like, I definitely feel like for you, when you've been stationed in different places, when you have to constantly move, does it take a big toll on you and like your family and things like that, or are you just kind of like, this is just something I have to do, and you quickly like adapt to that?
I mean, I've pretty much been on my own until I got out. My girlfriend and we dated in high school and then we reconnected when I was getting out, and she was
Uh
still
huh.
living over here, so we just decided to see how things would work out, and here we are. Now we're moving to New Mexico. We'll
Yeah.
probably get. I plan on proposing soon. It's just
Ah.
it's just the idea of even trying to plan a wedding right now seems like a dumb idea.
It's
It's
just, yeah.
yeah.
I
All
mean,
my
it's.
sorry, go
Oh, you
ahead.
were saying, no, 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 you go ahead. You go ahead.
All my viewers are like, when are you gonna propose? When are you gonna propose? And I'm like, guys, there's a pandemic right now. There's other things to
That's
be worried about at the moment. We're trying to move.
that. I mean, that's just nuts. It's crazy though when you kind of reflect on things. It's crazy how time flies, though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when you go from a point and you living like your youth to like now, when like you're trying to start like a family and things like that. Obviously, I haven't gotten to that point yet, but it's crazy thinking about just how quickly time can
Yeah.
fly. Like when you're enjoying what you're doing and when you're passionate about like the things that you do and the life that you're living, things like that. It really is crazy just how fast time flies. And that's on a side note too, in regards to everything that I've been doing with streaming and content creation. And I'm so glad I like took like a leap of faith and I started doing this because I have never been more passionate. I've never had more fun about doing things than now, ever, ever. Um, I've always, people have always told me, and what I've heard is like you got to find your passion in life. You got to like what you're doing shouldn't be work. It should be what you enjoy doing. It should be your pastime. And so I've never known what that feeling really was. I've done like a couple internships. Currently I've accepted full time for one of the top accounting firms in the nation for risk consulting. So that's what I currently have planned after I graduate. But while I had the time of COVID and everything, I kind of was like, you know what? Let me just try this. I've always wondered about this. Like I know like my personality and who I am, and I love playing video games. And even as niche as it sounds, this industry definitely is growing at a rapid rate. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Let me take a leap of faith. Let me, build a PC and get my equipment and just start it. I mean, I have like a whole senior year online. Let's just see how far we can take this. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so that was kind of my whole mindset. But I've never been more passionate about something than this. I love being able to be creative and unique with the, TikTok and content creation. On top of that, making people's days and, really enjoying the quality time with you and your viewers and just the sense of community building and being that role model for
Yeah.
for people that really need someone to look up to in their lives. And it's it's been really cool though. And yeah, I mean, we're just gonna keep on going through. But in regards to the whole passion aspect, I finally have an idea of what that means when people say the cliche, statement. So it really is a cool
That's
feeling.
good. Well, I'm happy
Yeah,
for you for having that job lined up when you're done.
appreciate that.
Um,
Yeah, thank you. And yeah,
Yeah, so as far as when you say passion and stuff, so the way that I've been looking at it these past 6 months is I was basically going to go work on a TV set as a production assistant. That's what I had lined up, but you know, everything's
Uh-huh.
shutting down, everything just halted. The end goal was, you know, 5-10 years from now I'd be working in, you know, on the creative side of stuff.
Yep.
You know, like I really do enjoy the writing and directing and, you know, camera angles, all that type of stuff when it comes to
Hmm.
movies and TV. So I never, I guess I just never thought that making TikToks, YouTube videos, Twitch streaming, stuff
Yep.
like that would, it would basically allow me to skip doing all that stuff that you don't want to do in the beginning and just go straight to the creative side, you know? Like
Yep.
I could try new things, and I feel like honestly, I feel like it sometimes it makes my content suffer because
Uh-huh.
people come to TikTok and they're just looking for like a quick video, and I'm over here, you know, making things super complicated so it looks nice, you know.
That's
It's
how
just
I
like
am. That's exactly how I am too sometimes. I totally understand what you feel
yeah,
like. And it's crazy because people want like stuff
yeah,
now. Like I want information now. I want entertainment now. Like everything our whole generation with sense social media and sense smartphones is always like how can I get information, entertainment, comedy, whatever it is, as quickly as possible and move on to the next thing? Like our attention spans are the shortest they have ever been, ever. And that's always been my problem too, is just spending so much damn time, like, trying to be innovative and creative. And a lot of times it actually, like you said, it suffers, like it hurts you. And the worst feeling is when you spend so much time on like one of your pieces of work and it like you really think like hey this has the potential, and then if it flops, that is so demoralizing. That's happened to me a couple times where I've really spent a lot of time editing and being creative and stuff like that, and it definitely hurts. It definitely hurts a lot.
yeah. I've been trying to focus more on just solely improving my skills as far as editing and stuff like that right now. So sometimes it does take me a little too long to edit stuff because, you know, I'm
Mhm.
trying to get better at it. Like yesterday, I posted a TikTok about Cold War, and somebody was like, "That your camera, like, you know, like they could tell that like it was out of sync," and I was like, "Oh yeah, you know," I look and the audio is just barely off enough to tell. And so here I am, I'm like Googling and I find, you know, there's a software where you can fix it so it's not a variable frame rate and all this stuff like that. So it's just little things like that, you know, I feel like
Mhm.
over time that all piles up, and all of a sudden now your content, no matter what it is, it, you know, you have a standard for yourself. And I think that's
Exactly.
what makes you stand out. I mean, I've watched Lucci on his stream go through other people's TikToks and just like give constructive criticism on what he would do to make it more like his own, and basically
Mhm.
go over what has made his videos do better. He'd be like, "Oh, so right here I would have totally brought up your face cam so that you could see your reaction. Like that's the focus of, you know, because you just did
Yeah.
something crazy, or you know, I would have had the subtitles pop up because, you know, you couldn't hear him that well or something. Just things like that, you know. Those are
Yeah.
just things you learn by making content, you know. I I've definitely been lately, I think I've been spending a lot more time listening to stuff that improves my mindset than I
Mhm.
do, um, you know, trying to listen to okay, what's changed with the algorithm now? What's changed with this? You know, because you'll
Yeah.
go down a rabbit hole, and that stuff. A lot of times, it's people just
Exactly.
shooting, you know, taking shots in the dark. It's just not, you know. They're like, oh well, you know, last time or last because I think it changes every 2 weeks. They say the TikTok algorithm, and
Mhm.
I mean, you know, somebody be like, "Well, last week when you went live, your videos suffered from it, but now you go live and your
Yeah.
videos take off." And it's like, you know, I just spent 5 minutes watching a video just to find out that, and it's like I could have figured that out on my own, you know. So I've been
Exactly.
listening, yeah, I've been listening to more like self help stuff, and one of the things that's really stood out to me is that a lot of people spend a lot of time in motion and not taking action. They'll sit
Mhm.
there and think about ideas and, you know, j- you'll spend a lot of time thinking about how you're going to do something instead of just doing it, you know?
Yeah,
Sometimes just doing it, you know, a lot of my TikToks that have done well are ones where I was sitting there and I couldn't come up with an idea, and then something just clicked, and I made something in like 2 minutes. Those ones where I sit there and I plan it out, and then I take half an hour to get everything precise and right. Those ones always bomb. That's how I feel.
really.
Yeah.
Damn, it's crazy. It's crazy how people say that too, and it's pretty true. Like, the more I feel like the more you spend time on a video, the less likely it is to
Yeah.
actually grow,
Yeah.
unless it's a very calculated.
Yeah. Uh,
And what I mean by a calculated move is like with the zombie stuff. It's been a while since we have zombie content, and on TikTok, this is like the first time that we've seen like the new like zombie stuff,
yeah.
things like that. And so people are just eating that up with like Easter eggs, and it's pretty funny with like other glitches and things like that. And so like that's what I did. I made a calculated move to make a video on that. And that now has been my best video as of now. And you know I feel like if you make a very calculated move, it could work out for you, but for the most part, the more time you spend on something, I feel like there's the greater chance that like it couldn't work out. And
yeah.
so that's that has also helped me with my shift from like purely like gameplay clips to now I'm going to be doing like tips and tricks slash like information with skits, because I want to show I want to be able to, like I was saying earlier, you want to try and provide value, and
Yeah.
also you want to have things that are like shareable and likable, right? Okay, tips and tricks and information, people that come to TikTok for that stuff, for information. If you're able to present that very quickly, that's very good. On the other hand, I love doing skits because like I want to show my personality. Like I want to show people like who I am, what I'm about, like whether it's like
Yeah.
my comedy or my energy, things like that. That's where people can see that side. And so the two people that I kind of I base off my information and high quality gaming clips, things like that, off Lucci, and then I've gotten inspiration from a couple people, like Mike Navo and Stanman, from like a skit perspective.
Yeah.
And so, what I've done is looked at them as inspiration and kind of see, kind of like what people crave, but then put my own spin, my own twist to things, and kind of create my own brand from that. Because I mean, when you're starting out, going into something, like you gotta use people as inspiration, not copying. I'm not saying copy. Do not ever like copy someone, but using something as like inspiration, you know, and then showing your own creativeness and uniqueness and your own ideas and things like that. Um, and so like that's kind of what I'm at now in regards to my content. It's just doing a mix between information and like skits.
Yeah. I think one thing that just recently, like last night, I was thinking about it was I think I'm gonna start trying to incorporate trends a little bit more again because that's what worked for me in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing is that I feel like as people grow, they start to forget that those types of things are there to help you as well. You know, the trends and stuff like that. I'm guilty of it. I've tried. I've gone on little streaks where like I just make totally original stuff, and I mean, unfortunately, on TikTok, straight up original content, it's hard to get that stuff to take
No,
off.
yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, unless you're a big name brand where
Yeah,
you start a trend, like everything is trend based,
yeah,
in regards to, I mean, even the funniest things like the oh no, soundbite, those
yeah,
videos, to actual gaming trends such as the new Call of Duty, and using that whole hype train to other things like that. I mean, everything is based off trends, like a lot of things. And so, I mean, it makes sense from an algorithm standpoint. If something's trendy, you're gonna push it out. More
Yeah.
people are going to be tuned in and things like that. So from a content creation perspective, use those trends, but be able to show who you are and your
Yeah,
brand and your
exactly.
personality and capitalize on that. So
Yeah.
there's so much recycled content. Like when people say, if you have like a best settings video or like a, hey, look at this like trick like spot or whatever, there's so many people are making videos of that. And when I see people saying like, oh, you copied this from that, I'm like, a lot of this stuff is recycled content, right? Like it recycled as in, the idea and stuff like that, but not recycled in the aspect I'm putting my own, creativeness and uniqueness and, my own brand into it. So that's the other thing with gaming clips and stuff like that too. A lot of that stuff is kind of repetitive. So that's where I try to emphasize, through editing and through like quality and through creativeness, like how you can differentiate yourself in that regard.
Yeah. It's something that comes up a lot when people ask me how to, because they'll say, "Well, I'm doing what you're saying. I'm making TikToks. They're just not getting views." And I'll go look, and I mean, it's just content that doesn't make me want to find out more
Exactly.
about you. You know,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
just doing a dance is not gonna if it looks like everything else, it's not gonna make you stand out.
Yeah,
So it's finding
exactly.
that balance. And I'm not saying I'm there. I struggle with it a lot,
Mhm.
trying to find that balance.
Yeah,
Everything's about balance.
exactly.
You don't want to spend too much time on a video, but you want to spend enough time that it stands out. But
Exactly.
it's hard to find that sweet spot.
No, it definitely is, and I feel like that's one of the exciting things of the game. You know what I mean? You can't win every single video that you post, but as long as you keep on you know learning from your mistakes, learning what works, what doesn't work, continuing to hone in on like your craft, then in the future you're going to give yourself better odds and a better chance of being more successful on a consistent basis and things like that. And so I think that's like the biggest life goal at the end of the day is like, if anything, TikTok will show you, while yes, you can get blessed with some videos that are just like like okay videos, and then other videos can flop that are really good. The biggest thing is just honing in on your craft and continuing to improve on things. And more times than not, you know, if you have things that are high quality and creative and stuff, even if you don't have a big following, people will appreciate that. And if you're like someone like, that's kind of what happened with me too. Now, what I've been telling small people is like, when I started out a couple months ago, I try to focus on like making sure my TikTok was high quality and making sure, I was trying to be creative and stuff like that as much as possible. And when you're starting out too, if you're able to differentiate yourself from the mass, then like people appreciate that stuff. And when people come to your profile and they see that on a consistent basis you do videos like that,
Yeah.
they'll drop a follow. They appreciate that. You know what I mean? So that was one of the things. Like I didn't want to do one of those things where you just throw up a gameplay clip and you have the black on top and the black on bottom. Like no
Yeah.
shot. I was
I
not
did
gonna
that for
do
a
that.
long time.
And so, yeah, I mean, well, it's also, I was fortunate enough to, like I was saying earlier, when I was playing with like, um, I guess my mentor, my teacher, his name is Mr. High Five, if you've ever heard of him.
Yeah.
Um, he, he's been my mentor, my teacher, and he's like one of the OGs that I've played with in March when I really started to take this serious with like playing Call of Duty and stuff like that. And he showed me the ways with like my first initial like editing and things like that. And so that's how I kind of like learned how to put things in frame, how to kind of, make like at least a decent looking TikTok at the time. And
Yeah.
so ever since then, I've just been, learning as I go and adding more effects and things like that. And that's what it is at the end of the day, is a learning process.
So
So
you mentioned reposting. So one thing that I've
mhm.
done that I think has helped me a lot is if I post a video and it doesn't do well, I first off I try to record videos using my camera and not TikTok most of the time,
Mhm.
because then I can go back and I can actually trim and edit it and make it shorter.
Exactly.
and then repost it. So it's not the exact same video. So to me, it's not it's not really a repost. It's more of like
Mhm.
a rehash or something. I don't know what you would want to call it.
Like a
Yeah.
f like a finalized
Yeah,
ver
there's a lot of times where I'll post something. It hasn't happened a whole lot lately, but I'll post something every once in a while, and let's say it's 19 seconds long, and
Mhm.
it's just it starts out and it seems like it's doing well, and all of a sudden it just stops, and I'm like, okay, well maybe if I can trim 3 seconds off of it, maybe it'll do better, and usually it does. So that's the way
Really?
that I'll do. I'll find little sections here and there where I can trim off like half a second, or you know, it's a lot easier if you're filming with like jump cuts, you know.
I'll definitely try that,
Gameplay too.
because
You can find stuff that added gameplay all the time.
yeah, I'll
So
definitely try that with videos that like become like very stagnant. I'll definitely try like tacking off like a couple
yeah,
seconds and then just reposting because I mean there are odds where you could have a good video but it just gets posted at a bad time and just like it doesn't get any
yeah.
traction. I mean that can happen from time to
So
time.
I have a question for you because you said you
Mhm.
post pretty much every day, right?
I try to post like every single day at least one
Yeah, at
video
least
like every
once a
single
day.
day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sundays, at least to me, seem to be god awful for views,
Oh
man.
my god. I
Like
weekends
I
we
post once at around noon to 3, so in that little time slot, and then depending on how that one does, like if it does really well, that's good. I'll just leave that one. I'll let that one do its thing.
mm,
But if it does all right, maybe I just barely crack 10K, I will I will post one at like 8 o'clock, because
mhm.
after 8 o'clock everybody's going to bed. That's usually when they check their phone, and that seems to have been a good strategy for me. But it took me a while to realize just Sundays are just not good for posting. I don't know what it
Sun
is. I don't know if it's just everybody
yeah.
spending family time, people are out and
You
about. I
you
don't
would
know.
think on Saturday people would, but I think one of the craziest things was I don't know if Gosi, who does a lot of like information and like tips and stuff like that for Call of Duty, he posted a video sometime this past Saturday, like a little past like noon, and it was about like a certain Easter egg for zombies. I like I was just amazed. I think in about 2 hours he got to 1 million views, and then I think now it's at like 6 point something, like almost 7 million views.
Who
And it
who
was a
posted that?
zombies Easter egg. Ghosty, it's a
Okay, go.
ghost.
Yeah, no, I know who you're
Yeah,
talking about. I
and
saw the
so
post. Yeah,
yeah, and I feel like everyone and their mother saw that post,
yeah.
but like it was on a Saturday, like it was on a weekend day, and weekends are so tricky because here's the thing: there's gonna be more people on the app. I feel like, but at the same time, the time window is so varied.
It's so
You
spread
don't know.
out.
Yeah,
You know.
it's so sporadic. So that's just a really tough thing about it is it's like high risk, high reward. I feel like if
Yeah.
you have a good video.
Saturdays don't seem to be as bad for me. Saturdays, they're definitely not as good as like a normal Monday through Friday, but I guess it's just that consistent time frame.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
Sundays, I hate Sundays. I take off. Sundays, I literally I post an
You're just
episode
like
of the
nah.
podcast or a YouTube video, and then I try to have some TikToks ready to post, or one or two, or if not, it doesn't take long to make one about like an energy drink or something like that, because I do a
Mhm.
lot of energy drink reviews. Which the energy drink reviews, they're not those posts that are gonna do crazy, but they're consistent for me at least.
I love watching those. They're so
Really?
funny. I've never had a scuba G fuel ever either.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
branched out. I've been doing Monster. I did some. I tried some other ones. People have started to hit me up and they're like, "Hey, I'm starting an energy drink brand. Like, do you want to try our product?" And I'm just like, "This is so weird," you know. Like I found one. the one that I tried, and now he's actually sponsoring the podcast, Dadderall,
Really?
and an energy drink for dads.
Adderall? What
Yeah,
in the
dude.
that is so funny.
Yeah,
Yo, that is honestly it's crazy.
tastes
It's
like Quiet
crazy though
Punch.
too.
It's good.
Um it's crazy though, thinking like from like a social media perspective that you're able to have the opportunity to have like partnerships and sponsorships and things
Yeah,
like that too.
that yeah,
And
that's one of the things that I've also I've been trying to, because I Bad Bear Gamer hit on it, and I was just like, dude, he's totally right. Because I've been turning down a lot of these partnership things because they're
mhm,
just either sending you free products, or
mhm,
they're like, hey, use our affiliate code, but you're doing more work for them than you're not getting much out of that. Sponsorship and a partnership are two different things. Sponsorship is, here's money to use and promote our product. A partnership is, here's a free product, or here's an affiliate code. But you have to market the product so that people will buy it, so you make money. So
yeah.
you're doing a lot more work for them. There was, I don't know, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's like a just a robot that sends out emails or something, but there's that coldest water. That was the first that was the first brand that was in the email, said sponsorship, we will pay you. And it was $90 a month, for 10 posts. And I sat there for a while and I thought about it. I was just like, that's $90 for 10 posts. I gotta tag them in it. I gotta put the hashtag. Seems like they're asking a lot for me for $90.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
just, after that, I think of things a lot differently. I have two light companies that have done some stuff with me where I have
Mhm.
affiliate codes, and then, I mean, the Datterall, I'm getting an affiliate code for that. But as far as anything else, unless it's G Fuel, I don't think I'm gonna be taking
Yeah.
any of those affiliate things. It's just
So yeah, I kind of want to ask your thoughts on that too, because obviously I think that is also a pretty cool thing to do, is like going forward when you're able to have partnerships and
yeah.
sponsorships with the companies that you want to have. You know what I mean? I would say my first question is, at what type of like is there from like a from like an analytic perspective, at what point in like your TikTok growth, like from like a follower like perspective, do you think you know it's kind of time to start looking at that? And then two, like what are your so are you just are your overall thoughts with just partnerships and sponsorships? Don't do them unless like you have like that one or two companies that like you really want to do, and then just have the opportunity to do them. Like is that like the only way, or I just kind of like I want to get your thoughts on like both of those aspects.
So when it comes to sending, if because there was one company, they just wanted to send me a desk. They wanted to send me a desk. It was one of those, well, not a desk. I think it was one of those things you put on a desk and you can adjust it so that if you want to be standing, you
Oh,
can. And I sat there and I was like, that's cool, like, I was like, hey, and then, like, I looked at it and I thought about it, and I was just like, I don't. At the same time, I a lot of these things, if it takes the fun out of making content. If I'm not
mhm.
excited about it and it's not something I legit want to use, when I sit down and try to make that video, it's not fun.
No.
And I think my biggest, the one that I had the most issues with was the lapel portable monitor that got sent out to some streamers, because I was
Oh,
going, yeah, I don't know if you saw that. There was a couple streamers who got it. I saw some didn't even make they just were like, hey, I got this monitor, I'm going to be reviewing it, and they never made a second video.
oh
And
my
I
god.
did, it just didn't get views because it was like a minute of me just explaining why I would never use it. It was like, I it wasn't practical for streamers or anything. They were like, well, edit TikToks on it. It's not touchscreen, so there's no point. It's just like, it would be the same as me plugging it into my computer monitor. I'm just seeing it
Yeah.
on a bigger screen. It was, I mean, it's like that big. So
Yep.
even with the stand that they sent me from Amazon just to put something on it, I got the stand right here. I use it for my phone now.
Mhm.
uh, I just didn't want to have to be looking down at it to read chat or something, like just little things. I was just like nothing, you know. I tried to do it vertically, and you have to put a power cable on one side and then the HDMI on one side. So one of those sides you couldn't plug something in if you were putting it vertical. So that didn't work.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Watching Netflix. Now I got these cables running everywhere because I gotta have a power cable. It's like I'm just gonna use my phone or an iPad, or you
You're
know
like,
what I mean. It's just
you're
like,
just like you're yeah, you're just like screw this, and that's
yeah,
that's one of the things too. Like when
it
I've
was a
thought in my
big,
mind, like in the future, like I,
yeah,
I don't I don't want to like partner and sponsor and like be sponsored like by. I mean, like I don't want to partner with companies that like I don't
yeah,
fully like believe in. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the
yeah,
biggest sins too is when if you go into a partnership and you don't believe in the product with its quality, with its like usefulness, with what it like embodies, then like what the hell are you gonna do? You're literally just lying to people's faces saying, "Hey, use this product right now."
yeah,
And it's kind of like it's like a slap in people's face when like not even you believe in it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's one of the things. But in regards to like your experience though, at what point, and I guess like how many like followers and likes do you think is enough leverage in order for you to like, well, let's say for example, let's say this, okay, if we take like a bigger brand like G Fuel for example, at what point do you think across your social medias do you think personally would be a good like number of things to kind of see like if you're at that moment of time to ask for like a partnership?
So, and I'm not gonna name names, but I have seen people who have like 4,000 followers on TikTok get a G Fuel code because they know
Really?
somebody.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to go kiss somebody's ass. You know what I mean? I
Nah,
want my content to
I'm not.
stand for itself. Uh,
Yeah.
but as far as when the time is right, honestly, man, they start reaching out to you, and
Really?
it'll shock you. It's just like all of a sudden one day, and then now it's like I got to check my Twitter, my email, my Instagram every other day or so to make sure that I don't miss one because uh that coldest water one, I think it was like 4 days before I actually saw it, and I was like, dude, I got to
Mhm.
start checking these more. But I guess the reason why I hit so much on the lapel thing was because that was a big learning experience for me. I took the first thing that somebody offered that seemed like it was, because I was like, oh, that's a $200 portable monitor. That seems like it's worth it. But
Exactly.
all it was, now I'm here trying to sell this product to people, and I don't see my. It's just I put it back in the box and it sits there. I mean, I it's just yeah, I don't know. It's one of
Yeah.
those things, man. I mean, it's no joke. When people say, "Hey, don't just take money because it's money or something," or a free product because it's free, you really do have to stop and think like, would I use this? Do I respect what they're doing? Stuff like that. G Fuel, people are always like, "Oh, you're just trying to," I I've gotten comments where people are like, "Do you ever rate anything a 10 or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have. You just have to go watch."
Dude.
But I the monsters. I've been drinking the monsters lately, and there's a couple of them. I think I just rated one. I was like, "That's a 10 out of 10, dude." Like I would buy that. I would go to the if I was at a gas station and I was looking to
I
grab an
saw
energy
that.
drink, I would totally buy that. Yeah.
That's great.
So,
And that's one of the things too. I feel like just side note in regards to rating things. I mean, you see Dave Portnoy with Barstool. You'll
uh,
never see him rate something a 10 out of 10.
yeah,
Like you got like being honest and being creative with that stuff is like that adds more entertaining value to it as
yeah,
well. Like if you rate something like a random number, like yeah, I rate this like a 6.3. It's getting there, but it's
yeah.
just not. Oh,
I
that like oh that.
I've seen that too, cause I've seen all the G Fuel reviews on TikTok, cause like it's a total thing now. People start off their day with G Fuel now, and it's them making their little cup of G Fuel, and they'll
uh
at the end they'll be like, and I'm gonna give this a solid 6.35. Like it's all precise and like
It's so funny though. I feel like that little touch adds to the entertaining aspect though. Like
yeah,
and
it's
people
funny.
people appreciate that stuff.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I guess the other side note in regards to partnership stuff like that, have you gotten hit up through TikTok, or do they even like try to hit you up through TikTok, or is it through like Twitter and stuff like that? Because obviously for me, my Twitter and my Instagram are a lot lower, like from like a numbers basis compared to like my TikTok. So like I'm wondering if they hit you up like through TikTok, or they try and hit you up through like another outlet, or just mainly through your email,
Most of it's been through Instagram and Twitter.
Instagram and Twitter. Okay.
Yeah, and then now that now I've been promoting my business email a little bit more. I do need to add it to my link tree, I think, or my solo
Mhm.
toe or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Um,
I've got the solo.to. I like that because it funnels people directly to whatever app is
yeah,
correlated with
yeah.
it. Which is the biggest thing. You
Hmm.
know, if you click one of those funnels and it goes to some website, uh-uh, people are gonna like not finish through. Like conversion
Yeah,
rate is just not gonna be there. So that's like one
yeah,
of the biggest like things with that.
yeah. But I mean, dude, honestly, I'm still a baby when it comes to this stuff. So, like I
No.
said, I just have the few experiences with like the light companies and the portable monitor and stuff. Um, and then another thing that I will say is you'll see, like, especially the coldest water. There's only one account that I've seen that does it perfectly, and it's that guy who it'll be like it'll be like a brother and a sister hugging each other a little bit too, a little too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a little too.
Yeah, yeah,
And then all
yeah.
of a sudden he'll start strumming his guitar and and singing "Sweet Home Alabama." But before he does it, he always puts that coldest water ball on the table. So
Oh
there's
my
things, you know what
god.
I mean? Like,
It's
and
the
those get millions
subtle.
of views because
That's
it's
that
yeah.
that's funny.
So
That is crazy.
I look at videos like that and I just I mean, I've seen other fellow streamers get the same. Obviously, they got the same email that I did because all of a sudden now they're doing it, and I see the way that they're doing it, and I'm just like, yeah, that's just I don't want to be doing that, you know. Like I would G Fuel, if G Fuel were to hit me up right now and be like, hey, you got a discount code now? I'm gonna celebrate, man. I'll be like, hey, we finally got a G Fuel code, you know, and I'm not gonna change anything that I do. I'm gonna keep doing what I do, except now I got a code to promote at the end, you know. It's like,
Exactly.
and that's another reason why I haven't taken up some of these other energy drink sponsorship opportunities is because I've invested so much time into the G Fuel that
Like
if
yeah.
I all of a sudden picked up another brand and then maybe that was the day that G Fuel was gonna finally hit me up, that sucks, you
Damn.
know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing too, is just brand loyalty. And
Yeah,
I think that's one thing for me is I think me personally, I think it'd be really cool to have like, G Fuel. I think on top of that, I think one of my big ones would be um with one of the competitive controllers, like whether it be like
control
Scuff or
freaks.
Battle, yeah, Control Freaks, or like the actual controllers themselves, like Scuff, Battle Beaver. Um, there's another one like aim controllers. Like one of those would be really cool as well. And
Yeah,
you know, because I tried keyboard and mouse on PC, but like I've always been a controller player at home at like heart, and so like
yeah,
I consistently play better on controllers, so that's why like
that's
I'm here to
interesting.
stay for the controller gang. Um, but um, but yeah, I mean, I've got 2 more minutes to spare, and if you wanted to, talk about anything last second or anything like that, I'd be more than happy to talk about anything.
Uh, let's see. I guess I can ask the one that everybody always asks me too. Aliens.
Mhm.
You believe in aliens, bro? They out there? They here?
They gotta be. They have to be. They have to be. Like there's just no way. There is no way that we are the only life forms living in this huge, humongous universe and galaxy and everything else. There's just no way. There's no shot.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I think it's only a matter of time, but that's always a question. Like, when is that time gonna come? You know what I mean? It is a very interesting question, though. It always is definitely is a very interesting question, but you gotta believe that. You know what I mean? There's just no way, like that. Like we're the only living thing out here
yeah.
in this whole entire space.
Do you
You know what
listen
I mean?
to Joe Rogan?
From time to time, I do.
Bob Lazar. He was on. He's the guy who says he worked at Area 51.
Oh man,
He
that's
was
gonna
like
be
a
an interesting.
whistleblower. So
Uh huh.
if you haven't seen that one, that one was really interesting. Because I keep telling people, and the way that I look at it is that guy is either one of the greatest liars I've ever seen, or it really happened. Because he just,
What was it? What were like some spark notes about it?
um,
I'm I'll still
he,
check it out. I'm still gonna check it out.
yeah, so basically he had his wife was cheating on him or something like that, and they saw that as a weak point, and when they see something like that happen to somebody who's in a top secret program like that, they get rid of them. And so he was worried that he was either going to be killed or they were going to, I don't know. He was just worried that they were going to do something to him. So he went to the news and told them, "Hey, I've been working at Area 51 doing all this stuff." And then now years later, all this other stuff has come out. Like he talked about like element 115 before it was even part of the periodic table. They found these fingerprint scanners that he said that they used to get into every room back then in the like 80s. I think it was like the late 80s when he was supposedly there. That was crazy technology for the time. Now we got it on our phones and stuff, but they found one, and he's like, yeah, that's it. That's what it. He has drawings of stuff that he drew to try and explain what he saw, but yeah, he just the way that he talks about everything is it's legit, like he's recalling it from past experience. It's not like him telling a story that he's told everybody. So it makes you stop and think.
It's crazy though. Like people that have like been whistleblowers, there's a lot of people that try and like shun them away, but like that's one of the biggest things is like knowing whether they're telling the truth or not. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And what is, you know, true and not true. Like do I believe this person fully head on or what? And that's like one of the greatest mysteries with like any type of whistleblower is like how much do you believe them? And what can really back up their claims and stuff like that. And that's what's kind of exciting about whistleblowers too, is they have these like this information that is like unforeseen,
yeah,
and but there's no like factual basis to back them because they just don't have anything really, unless they have hardcore like literal evidence in the palm of their hands,
yeah.
to back stuff up. I mean, it's hard,
I mean, every
but it's
every
always interesting.
yeah, every time Snowden's been on Joe Rogan, it's like watching a horror movie, because like he's just it's just everything. You're like, damn, man. Like, basically, if you have anything to hide, just don't have a phone. It seems like. But
Oh my god!
yeah, that stuff's crazy. But
Wow.
all right, man. I'll let you go. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this. It's been fun
Of
talking to
course.
you.
Of course. Danny, thank you so much for bringing me on. I love being on here, and it's honestly been really cool to be able to like talk with you firsthand and be a part of this. I think it's really special. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's really cool being able to talk to someone who's on the same like grind that you are on the same path.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Someone who's continuing to like be innovative and continuing to learn in regards to community building, content creation, things like that. It's always really nice to talk to someone and like network things like that. And we definitely need to get Warzone games in
Yeah,
at
man.
some
Let
point.
let me know about that tournament.
Yeah, I'll let you know because I'm supposed to be that day's supposed to be with my girlfriend, things like that. But I can
Oh,
let you
okay.
know like by like, yeah, either like the end of today or tomorrow. I could definitely let you know about that.
Okay, man.
And
Sounds
yeah,
good. All right.
well, all right. Take it easy. Have a blessed rest of your day and going forward. I hope your move is safe and everything like that. And yeah, I look forward to getting some games with you and continuing to grow and things like that.
Yeah, man. Oh, just like everybody else, I'll be watching, man. Keep up the
All right.
grind.
Same here, homie. Take it easy. Thank you so much for bringing me on, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right, man. Peace.